You must realize that the rock that we're sitting on right now, spinning around at 1,000 miles per hour out in the void, it's not going to be here forever. It's eventually going to get, the sun's going to expand and it's going to consume all life. All the rocks are going to crumble. What we have here is completely impermanent. It's a long time, but it's impermanent. And if we want to have any kind of permanence, we can't count on being on this planet. This is not our only spot. And my concept is that, well, if we can't get off the planet, maybe something of us, the electricity that's buzzing around in our brains right now in certain patterns, maybe that's the most important thing. Maybe there's no other example of that in the entire universe. Can we somehow capture that part of us and put that into a vessel that is not as fragile as this one? I know we're pretty tied to this one, I understand that. But when push comes to shove, how about backup? And the AI is the backup. That if this can't make it, for some reason, the best part of us, the most important part of us, the unique part of us might still be able to make it. So what can I do to help make that a possibility? And then realizing that HAL, that robot, was so near, that computer rather, was so near and so poorly programmed ethically that was something that needed to be done sooner rather than later. The basic idea was just to have in place a research program that people could turn to when it became important to make decisions about should AI continue or not. I thought it was all software, it was AI, but what happened is you guys and guys like you created a system that I can program. I don't have to go out and build. It's the software is there. I don't have to go out and figure out how to map a room and all that kind of baloney. It's there, it's usable. And now it's a research tool that I can bring in, show my lab people, and we can do something high level with it and show that, yeah, see, it proved to people that this control of a robot by ethics is possible. But when I first started, that wasn't possible, that there would be such a thing. So I didn't see I was going to be in robotics. I'm not in robotics, right?
Yeah.
I'm in AI, but that's a neat tool, right? We're building principles, that is what we do. But they're not those kinds of high level things, they're very low level kinds of things. To the point where when ethicists get together and discuss cases, there are specific cases of things, there's often agreement on those cases as to what the right thing to do is and what are the duties involved. If you have those cases and the ethicists agree upon that, could we use those cases to sort of expand and learn abstractly what the principles are underneath that agreement? What if the robot is needing a charge and it's time to remind the patient to take medication and someone's asking it to play ball right now? Just some simple things like that. What the heck should the robot do? What are the duties that are involved? Every action that the robot takes satisfies or violates some collection of these little duties. We use machine learning to take all these cases and abstract from them these duties and how they are balanced with each other. If you need a charge and somebody needs medication that's going to prevent a lot of harm, you have to go take care of the medication. That's probably the right thing to do. I'm not gonna say that is, because I'm not the ethicist, but that sounds reasonable to me at this point. Whereas if you're playing ball with somebody and you need a charge, it's more likely that going to get the charge is the correct thing. Now these sound like simple choices, but imagine now you have all the actions the robot can do and all of the things that are involved in those actions. And you have to decide what the right thing to do is at this moment in time. And you got to program that. So what we do is we come up with this principle that can be used to control that, so that at any given time when there's at every 100th of a second, the robot checks to see what it should be doing right now by looking at all the possible things it can do, determining from its perceptions what how that action satisfies that duty, and that action and it violates this duty, and for all the possible duties. Then I pass that to my principal that I've created from all those cases, and it sorts the actions. The actions, it could be a couple that are equally preferable, come to the top, and that's the thing it should do at that 100th of a second. It's a hard thing to do, but I was surprised that it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be for the kinds of things we're doing. If you're talking about a robot that's fully autonomous, nearly conscious, walking around the world, dealing with the world, I mean, that's a tough thing. But that's not the kind of robot you're making right now. You're making a robot, at best, working to be in an elder care situation or in the store taking inventory. Smaller kinds of goals, right? And when you have smaller goals, you have a smaller collection of actions. You have a smaller collection of perceptions. And from that, when you limit it like that, all of a sudden, yeah, I can see if I have those perceptions, my battery needs charging, the doctor told me it's time to give medication, I have that in my storage. You can turn those into how much an action like going to charge will satisfy maintaining myself. Right? I was surprised to see that. Pleasantly surprised because, when we first started this work, I had no idea we could do that. That you don't put a robot in a situation in which the ethics are not yet clear. If you don't understand the ethics, the robot should not be there. The ethics should come first, and then the robot goes there.